What's up, Scott? How's it going today?
Hi, Hermie. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We're in the middle of November. It's starting to get a little chilly out here in Vegas. 50 degrees is cold for us. So we're getting bundled up. Let our fans know and the audience know, where are you located at?
I'm in Missouri, southeast Missouri, just in between St. Louis and Memphis. The weather's been extraordinary. It's been 50s, 60s, 70s. It's been crazy. So
Nice. Still
since
golfing weather, right?
still golfing weather. Since this COVID thing has hit, we didn't really get out and do our baseball thing this year. I've been playing a lot of golf.
There you go. How's the game?
It's up and down, not real consistent.
That's what the amateur motto is, right? Up and down, right? Well,
Yeah.
awesome. So you and I met when I was 17 years old. I just got drafted by the Pirates. I went straight to rookie ball. My first manager was Woody Heike, just an old grumpy fart that had a lot of knowledge in baseball, and then played pretty well for the first few weeks. And then I got called up to Erie, Pennsylvania, where you were my short season manager. And it was actually the first time I met you. Uh,
Mhm.
what do you remember about 1995 with the Erie Seawolves?
That it was the first year in that stadium. It was a long walk to the clubhouse. We had an interesting first half of that short season team, and then a bunch of you kids came up the second half and sparked us, and we played pretty well with some 17 and 18-year-olds that and finished the season. And basically, I thought we had a really good time, despite the fact that we finished several games below 500. But
Mhm.
you kids played hard, and you guys got better.
Yeah, it was funny. So I remember the first time meeting you. So if you've never been to Erie or seen their stadium, it's a really nice stadium, but in left field you got kind of this big civic center where they would have events. In fact, I remember we went to the WWF wrestling outing day. You saw Hulk Hogan and the Undertaker, and I was kind of a WWF fan way back in the day. I ashamedly admit that. But I remember the first time I met you was, I think we were walking. You were already on the field, and I had got there, and we kind of met halfway. And you have a young face, right? A young, beautiful face. And when I met you,
I was only 30, what, 2 or 3 years old,
yeah,
18.
you were young and
Mhm.
you look young. I'm like, this dude's the coach, because you look like a player. You look like you just got off the field and you were still in really good shape. And like, is this our outfielder? Like, who? No, this is the manager. So I found that kind of cool. So let's kind of go way back for you personally with your playing career. Walk us through like your high school and your college experience, and how did you end up in pro ball?
Well, I was really I went to Missouri, University of Missouri on a football scholarship. So I was really kind of a football guy. I had played baseball also, but had a really good high school career. I made All-State in several sports, and basketball was probably my favorite sport. But I went to Mizzou on a football scholarship. I thought I was going to play both my freshman years, and they wouldn't let me. So I went back my sophomore year and played baseball. Um, and then I had probably too good a time, didn't concentrate on what I needed to do. And uh, my third year of college, I actually went to junior college because I was still a sophomore, and played baseball and basketball at a school called Mineral Community College, and in Flat River, Missouri. And I had a blast there, and the coaches were great. And my um, college coach there just recently passed away at 90 something years old. He was there forever, and great guy, super guy. Um, so I got drafted out of there and by the Mets. Got traded a couple years later to the Pirates. Was fortunate enough after a few years there that I went to I actually kind of got stuck in A ball a few years with the Mets, and then
Okay.
went over there and went A ball, double A, triple A, big leagues in one year, and everything was looking good. And went to winter ball and I picked up a bacteria and missed a whole year and broke a hand the next year. And,
Ugh.
I just, they'd always told me when I wanted to coach, let me know. Terry Collins was my manager for 3 years in AAA. And um, I wanted to coach at least. So at a very young age, 29 years old, I had my first team, which is was in Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said you spent a couple years in A ball. That happens to a lot of guys. What was your mindset going in after you had like your first year, and then you think you're going, say, to high A or even double A, but you're still there? Like, how did you manage that and get through that?
Well, I will be the first to admit I've never had any trouble mentally at all. Everything was pretty easy until I went to rookie ball my first year, played with Buddy Harrelson and Kevin Elster and Sean Abner and a bunch of guys. We won the Penn League, and then I jumped to high A in Lynchburg, Virginia. Had a great team, and I struggled. We were so good though that Mike Covey was the managers that and I played good defense, so it didn't matter. I mean, I was hitting 230 and a mental mess, but I was doing all the little things to try to help us win because we had a bunch of good players and pitchers, and ended up winning like 95 games that year. So, but I was a mental mess. Struggled. Next year, struggled again. I just couldn't get going. I was facing adversity for the first time in my life, and it was a hard thing to do, and I didn't know how to do it. I'd always, just was a grinder.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started grinding, and then you just kind of get to a point where you get stronger and stronger if you allow yourself to. You start thinking the right thoughts, and then I was able to have some success once I said, forget it,
Right.
quit making this so hard. Because it's a hard game. I wish I could do it with golf more.
The ball's just sitting right there. Why is this?
I know, and I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to relax and enjoy it more. But like I said, we compete so much. But so I ended up, like I said, I don't know that I wouldn't say I figured it all out, but I got a lot better at it.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the things you're doing and the people we have that I work for. My God, it's such an important part of our growing process. The mental part of the game. And I totally believe if you can improve and if you could master it, it'd be great. But if you just keep improving it, the mental part of the game, all the other stuff will get better also.
Yeah, and I think that's just having an awareness that, I mean, I think that's a perfect point because, like you said, I was really good on the mental side up until A ball when I really faced adversity. Maybe it was, obviously the pitchers just continue to get better and better, but you went through it. Was there? This is what would you say in the early '90s, late '80s at this point?
Shut the dog up. I'm on the.
You're okay. I can edit anything. It's okay.
Go ahead, buddy. Nobody ever comes down here.
No, that's okay. So yeah, I was just talking about how old were you when you went through that adversity in A ball?
22 years old.
Sorry?
22 years old.
22. Okay. So you're a stud in high school, you're playing all these sports, you're killing it, you get drafted, you go all the way through college. Was this your first year out of college or second year roughly?
It'd be my first full season.
Okay.
So I got drafted, went rookie ball, went to high A ball, and then that's when.
Yeah. So pro ball was kind of when it first hit you in a way.
Oh God, yeah, because it's just a different breed. Everybody was a stud in high school. Everybody was the man, and some guys just have it. They really just have it, and they can't believe they're ever going to do bad. And they just can. And they're rare. To me, they're rare because I think most of them just get better and better at it, handling adversity, especially in pro ball. You know how hard it is because it's day in, day out. And if you do not have a short memory in pro ball, you're gonna have a lot of bad nights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Short memory.
that's not offers. That's just in your mind trying to battle every night.
Okay, so you have those struggles, you get past it, you move on to maybe double A, triple A, and you get called up to the big leagues. What was that like?
And I would say I never got past it. I just got better and better at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's it's always it's a process. Hell, it's a process now, and I'm 57 years old.
Right. It's mindset, right?
All the time. Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to get called to the big leagues. There was a lot of people got hurt, and I was doing well. And the Pirates had a decent team with guys like Bonilla, Van Slyke, and Bonds in the outfield, and people like that. So it was it was awesome getting called up there and getting to play for Jim Leland for the short time.
Yeah. What year was that you got called up?
89.
In 89. So that's during what was that, Killer Bees, basically, right?
It was after that, but it wasn't that.
But yeah,
wasn't that long ago.
But that was when the Pirates were really going well, right? Bonds, Bonilla.
When they were starting to come back, in the 90s, they had those late 80s, 90s when Leland was there, Bonds was there, and they had some really good teams.
Yeah. Okay. So you're an outfielder trying to crack that lineup.
Yeah, I was kind of a utility. I was really a utility guy by the time I was in AAA because I was playing everywhere.
Okay.
Some third outfield, and I was catching. So,
right.
But I came up as an outfielder. But I'd played everything all my life, so I mean, it was beneficial for me to be able to do different things.
Yeah. Okay. So you got called up. You had a couple of bats. Just looking at that, and then you had that. You came up and had those at bats. Then you went back down. Did you ever get back up, or was it that peak?
I went up twice that year to get only the 4 at bats, but
yeah.
I'd gone down, and then they called me back up, and then sent me back down. It was a deal where they called me up, and then they went in the series when they need pitching, so they sent me back down, and then when they called back up, Gary Reedus was actually hurt at the time, and he was when he was well, then I went back down.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because when you get that first call up, depending on how old you are and maybe your awareness in the game, you kind of like, I'm going up. I'm going to be in the big leagues forever now. And then you're like, well, that might be, you might be here for a day.
I actually didn't think I was going to be up there forever, but because I by that time I know my role was going to be a 24th or 5th man.
Right.
So to make myself, the reason I wanted to, I played everywhere. That's the reason they played me everywhere, is because you need somebody like that can play different positions, and catching is really what was going to help me.
Yeah. So being able to catch, that's a huge. Is that some advice you would give to any young aspiring high school or little league kid? Learn how to catch.
Yeah, if I had to do everything all over again, I'd just been a catcher, period.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So at what age did you become, I think 29, you said, became a manager?
29.
29. Did you, when you went through the minor leagues, did you feel like that was going to be something you definitely wanted to do? Or did that just kind of fall in your lap like, hey, you want to be a coach?
I kind of knew I was going to be coaching somewhere. I didn't know professionally, but I'd always known that that's what I enjoyed doing, And even like in pro ball, I may not have been the best player on the team, but I was somewhat of a leader on a team, So I knew that I watched a lot of stuff. I knew what was going on. I anticipated a lot of things. Stuff that, on the field stuff was really easy. The stuff we've tried to learn as managers and coaches is being able to coach a clubhouse, run a clubhouse, reach kids, try to figure out the time to either be sweet or be nice, or mean, or, and it's been, it's for me, I've had to change quite a bit over the years, especially the last few years, with different mindsets of kids. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because they're all great kids. But I mean, it's different. It's just a little different than it was back when, when you were a kid. If I jumped your butt, you got out there and played harder.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm still trying to learn, still trying to get better.
So you're seeing whether it's a different mindset or just the way different players um, carry themselves or how you need to communicate with athletes now. You're seeing a difference as you get older with how you communicate with them, maybe how it was 15, 20 years ago. You feel that's different now?
Yeah, I think it's different. I think it's different 10 years from 25 years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So things were different. I mean, things just evolve,
Yeah.
and you need to evolve with them, or you become a dinosaur and you're no longer useful.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
or whoever is your player, whoever's the kids you're dealing with, those you have to find ways to reach them, and you know all the different ways to do it.
Yeah.
You try to figure out
Absolutely.
what the best way to do it.
So when you I want to kind of go back to Erie because when I remember my very first game playing in Erie, and this is way back. So I'm 17 years old, just get called up to my first call up. And what was great about that is you go from rookie ball where you're playing in the afternoon in the hot Florida sun, it's humid, to
Mm-hmm.
now to the regular routine of baseball, like the 7 o'clock game. You know, you got the 4 o'clock, 4:45 BP. So you get into that real routine of baseball. And Jose Guillen is our right fielder. Well, I didn't know anything about yet because I'm still new to the system, and I'm hitting right behind him in my first game, and it was I don't know if it was his first at bat, but it was in his first game. He hit a home run as a right-handed hitter to right field that was way back, right? And I was like, what just happened? Right? And I couldn't believe because you just don't see that, right? A right-handed guy hit a ball that far, and I was like, oh wow, like this is a different guy, right? You obviously with how long you've been coaching have coached guys like Jose Guillen. Like, can you tell us any stories about guys like that? We're just like, holy cow, like this guy is unbelievable.
Well, I loved Jose Guillen, and you know, and he was a good kid. I mean, he was just a wild little guy, and he was so much better than everybody else. And the reason he was hitting in front of you is because he's hitting second. Because prior to you getting there, we were so bad that we couldn't roll over the lineup enough times in a game to make sure he got four or five at bats. So I started hitting second, and that's the biggest reason he was hitting second because he was a 3 or 4 hole hitter.
Sure.
But being a kid that needed to get his at bat, so we hit him at more toward the top of the order. He wasn't a leadoff guy for sure, but he the first game there he hit a walk off 3-run bomb on top of that building there in Erie to win the game, and sat there and watched it, and then just you know, next thing you know I'm watching going wow, and a few minutes later I noticed he hadn't left the box yet. The other team's there all night. So, as you know, we all leave the field together in center field to
Right.
go. So that was kind of an interesting deal. I had to actually keep him back and talk to him in the dugout while both teams left the field. Just because I remember their pitching coach was yelling and screaming at him.
Yeah.
Oh, but he had a heck of a career, and he was a great kid. You know, he made some interesting decisions at times, but he was really good to me. I was fair to him, and he was just he was an interesting guy.
Yeah.
He was a really good ball player with a crazy arm.
Yeah. Well, as a Pirate, if you're a Pirate fan, you know who he is. But if you don't know who Jose Guillen is, he spent a lot of years in the big leagues, and he was tabbed or labeled as like this guy's the next Roberto Clemente, right? This guy, he had power, he could run. The best arm that I probably ever played with. I mean, I played with some really good arms, but man, it was just if it's a 20 to 80 scouting scale, I mean, it's 100 arm. It was crazy.
Ridiculous. He could throw it. I saw him pick up a ball and throw out a guy from that shortstop back in the day, about 94, 5 or 6 for Colorado. He just threw it all the way to third base on
That's
line.
right. That was at Rocky Stadium.
Yeah.
It was from the warning track. One of the greatest throws ever.
He was something else.
That's awesome. So that's one. Like, who else did you come across that just wowed you?
Oh God, I mean, in the back then or late, like Elvis Andrus. I had
Anytime.
Elvis Andrus, a shortstop. I mean, it was just incredible having a 19-year-old shortstop like that. And he played most of the year with a broken finger and hit 300 and stole 50 bases. And I it was that little chopper up the middle. I've never seen anybody make it look so easy than him. But he was so much better. Matt Kemp was so much better than everybody that we had back then. You could just see all the talent in the world. Uh, God, there's been a lot of really good players through the years. And again, when you get those really good ones, you just try to get out of their way. Just try to give them the work they need and help them get themselves better.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
honestly, what am I going to do with Matt Kemp? I'm going to help him mentally and try to keep him in baseball games because he was a hothead. But other than that, just try to hit him balls and talk to him and let him hit balls and keep swinging and getting at bats. And
Yeah. So that's interesting. When you coach us, what I mean, superstar. Those are superstars there, right? That's
mhm.
you feel like that's the way to go. Like you just kind of obviously let people be who they're gonna be, but some guys you just got to kind of like, hey, just do your thing. I'm gonna hit you your ground balls. If I feel like you're messing up or screwing up, we're gonna have a sit down chat. Um, is that was it kind of your approach throughout?
Yeah. It's like that year I had Chris Davis too, and those guys uh, they're great kids and they're free spirits. Um, and because their minds work different than a lot of people's, and there might be guys that are so focused and whatever, and you can see those guys, and there's guys that nothing really bother them, and they're just out there having fun, and they may be having too much fun. But they're always really respectful. I mean, they know the lines you draw, and and they stay in those parameters, and as long as you're out there, and they know that you're working for them, not yourself, that you're trying to help them get better, then uh, everything just falls in place. And they work hard and they play hard, and you know when they screw up, they take their medicine and just kind of move on. It's just makes it everything a really easy working relationship with minds like that, like you said, with what you're working with, because they know they're good, they know they're better than everybody else, um, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just because we know it too.
As they should know, right?
Yeah, that's part of what makes them special. I mean,
Right. Yeah, it's like some of us they know they're good and they are good, and then maybe the next level is some good players, but I'm not sure if I'm really good or not, right?
right.
Those are things that we should maybe aspire to, is like, man, that guy's really good, but look at his confidence, right? Look how much he believes in himself. Like, what part of myself, and kind of checking in with yourself, like, what do I need to do, whether it's just to act more confidently, right? And it's that belief and the confidence, and how do I go about it? What about the managers or coaches that you've had in your past? You said you played for Terry Collins. I've had limited experience with Terry Collins, but that was a guy that really impressed me with like his confidence. Like he was a very confident person. What can you tell us about him?
Well, I mean, he was a leader. You know who was in charge. I mean, he probably started uh, a little fiery.
Mhm.
And he a little more of a sergeant kind of deal, and I think he evolved as as he aged and as the players changed and as the everything, he uh, and became who he is, and you know what I mean. If that makes any sense,
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
he kept growing in the game. He had a huge impact on my career as a player, in my career as a coach, because he's the one that got me into coaching, managing, and even when I went over from the Pittsburgh to the Dodgers when he was the field coordinator over there. So he's had a huge impact. Just watching Leland in spring trainings, you know, and, just talking to him, I mean, he's made a good pack. One of the smartest guys in baseball I ever knew was Gene Lamont, and he's still involved with Detroit, I think. But some of the stuff he knew or some of the stuff he did was like mind blowing, you know. And then you try to figure out guys that learn how to. Not that these guys couldn't, but you know, other people that really um, run their clubhouse as well, and how they do it. And those are minor league guys, you know, guys that the players always want to play for, and um, you just have a lot of respect for them because the players love them. You know, whether they win, lose, or whatever. Because I mean, let's be honest. I was the worst manager league in the Eastern League one year, and the manager league in the Texas League, and it was all because of obviously my players. If you have good players, you got a really good chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys that run those clubhouses with the big, strong, their personalities and whatever, and they can still run a big league clubhouse. They're amazing. I mean, it's such a difficult task, even in the minor leagues, of trying to figure out your clubhouse and trying to get everybody on the same page. That's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you started coaching when you were 29. I'm not going to ask you how old you are now.
I already said 57, so
57. Make sure you say it. But so you've been coaching a long time, a couple of different organizations. So you've had the roller coaster as well of moving up as a manager, maybe going to a new team, and then having to start all over in rookie ball. What is that like? And is that something that, are you ultimately trying to get to the big leagues as a coach, or are you happy as a minor league coach?
I can honestly say, by the grace of God, that I don't think about the big leagues at all. I think I focused on it way too much when I started. I know for a fact. Well, I had a thing happen in 2015, which, you know, I accepted something, and and everything has been a little different in my life now. I honestly believe I mean, I coach for the right reasons now, and I'm not so sure I did before. That didn't say I did a bad job. That didn't say I didn't have impact on a kid. That didn't say I didn't help a kid. My whole focus wasn't on, you know, helping them get better, but you know, I might have had dreams of moving up myself. I don't care now.
Right. You kind of get to that point.
And you could ask my boss, and my boss knows I don't care where I'm at. I don't care anymore. I really don't. Wherever he wants me to be, I'll be. Mm-hmm. Whatever he wants me to do. If he wants to manage, I'll manage. I'll coach. I'll hitting coach. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm in a better place in my life. You know, it's God, family, and I feel like where I'm at now at the Rockies, it's a total family thing, and they teach it and they preach it, and I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like we were talking about before we started the call, just the family camaraderie of your organization, like whoever you're with. Like you've been with a few teams, mm-hmm. and people ask me, like, who's your favorite team that you've been with? I'm like, well, whoever I'm with. You know, there's also people that you enjoy in the organization in different. Maybe you became really tight with the coach here, or really you're your best friends in the other organization now. But you're kind of keeping your focus on what team you're with. And I'm assuming as a manager, those players that you're with, you know, like you said, how can I get them better? And it's interesting because the more coaches and managers that I've spoken to have that same sentiment of, I stopped worrying about the big leagues or that huge goal that used to be there. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that because I'm still having an impact with these kids right now today.
Yeah, and when I was 29, 30, I may not believe them. You may, right, but it's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I really don't care if anybody believes me or not, but it's where I'm at, and I've made a lot of mistakes throughout the years, no doubt about it. But all of it's led me to here.
Hmm.
So I'm I'm okay with it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely. So what's the goal this year in regards to, like, do you know where you're already going to be for this upcoming season? Hopefully we have one.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, graciously, they paid us throughout the year,
Mhm.
which I mean, I thank the good Lord every 2 weeks, for that. But I mean, I thank Him for a lot of things. But just being blessed with an organization that cares so much about you and their employees, um, and and a lot of teams are struggling.
Mhm.
A lot of teams are struggling, and I just whatever they need. I don't care. I don't know. Don't care. Just they'll tell me. I mean, they've told me in February where I was going, like a couple years, because they didn't care.
Yeah.
just just tell me what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And they know I'm flexible. I mean, honestly, I mean, I could manage from AAA down to rookie ball, or I could coach anywhere they wanted to, or I could mentor wherever they wanted to. Uh, but the beautiful thing about it is, as I've done this, I've learned stuff from young coaches uh, that I really wasn't receptive 10, 15 years to go,
Right.
about. But now you just kind of keep your eye out, just trying to figure out how you can be a better person, coach, whatever. And some guys got pretty good ideas,
Mhm.
young guys. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I agree. Yeah, it's
I
when our
can learn from them as much as they can learn from me.
yeah, like when our egos get in the way, right? Of like, I've been in this game for so long and I can't learn from you. I was like, no, dude, I'll learn from anybody.
I
Right?
think I think my ego got my way a lot when I was younger.
I think that's
It's embarrassing to go back on, but again, it's I'm where I'm at. All these things made me who I am, and
yeah,
I'm okay with me now.
yeah. It's the natural evolution of ourselves, right?
Yes.
That's cool. I'm curious as to what your take is on the way in, I guess, the path of where the minor leagues is going with, now they're going to be eliminating teams, right? That maybe that short season team, like that Erie team. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I hate to say it, but I really don't have any thoughts on it. You
Mm.
know, whatever helps them and the organization. They've helped me. They've been on my side. I'll support anything they have to say and do. And
Yeah.
you feel bad for some of the teams that might be losing, um, or some of the, I guess, affiliates that maybe won't have teams that they've had before. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's sad. But again, I'm an employee, and whatever they say is good enough for me.
Where am I going? I'm going to go coach those guys, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Very
Uh,
cool.
it's unfortunate, but at the same time, well, it's nothing I have any say over. You know,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just do what they want. I'm happy. Do whatever they say they want.
Nice. So what's family life like for you now?
Well, I have two grown children. One's 26-year-old who's a electrical engineer in St. Louis for a big company, and my daughter's getting ready to graduate as she's 24 with that nurse practitioner program. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
I failed to screw them up. So life is good. I remarried 5 years ago to a wonderful woman who,
Yeah.
she's awesome.
Nice. Good. Good. So you're spending your off season playing some golf, getting out there. Well, that's awesome, man. Is there any I have some high school kids, some college kids, and obviously parents that listen to this channel, and any advice for them on, maybe how to handle coming up through high school, like maybe overdoing things in high school. Anything they got for us?
Well, I see Jim Gabella. You remember Jim? You know him? He's
I
a
don't know
scout
him.
out of San Francisco. But he was actually managing that league there when you came up there in '95.
Okay.
And now he's a scout, longtime coach, great guy. Facebook friends with him. He posts about every other day some big athlete in all different sports. He'll be like a 4-sport. I played 4 sports, played 3 sports, played 5 sports. Like, or I don't know if you can play 5 sports, but I guess theoretically you could. So I would tell them to just chill out, let them relax, play all the dang sports they can. With the like I said, the competition is what means the most to me. It's like get out there and playing and busting your butt and doing enjoying the teamwork, being a good teammate, helping your team win, lose. I mean, not lose, but obviously just to be able to deal with all that stuff and not get so caught up with trying to direct it more toward the future of trying to be better than you are, and just enjoy the moment because they're gone and they're fleeting. And we make so many mistakes early that the fewer you make, the least regrets you'll have.
Mm-hmm.
For me, and I backtrack a lot and then just shake my head and go, you can't do anything about it. Just life is what it is, and you're who you are, and you end up better for it. But I hate when there's so much pressure for those young kids to get out and they focus on one thing, and it's all or nothing in that one deal. When it's so hard to make it in baseball, you know that. You remember how good you were, and you had a pretty good career.
Like you said, it's a tough game.
Yeah. How long did you play?
I played 13 years, and that was cut short because I couldn't throw anymore. I couldn't lift my arm anymore. So, but yeah, I from 17 to 30. I mean, I wanted to play till 40, but
how much big league time did you get?
I ended up with about 3 years.
3.
A couple different teams. Yeah.
That was my point. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get there and stay. And if you're counting on a 12-year-old, that's your money right there to make it to the big leagues. Or, I mean, my God, that's a little early, isn't it?
It's a lot. It's a lot to handle and expectations for sure.
Like put them in situations where they learn how to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
And the better off they are at dealing with stuff, then nothing's going to be a big surprise later on. Are you at least able to cope with those situations?
Mm-hmm.
May initially make the wrong choice, but going through those things, they make you better people.
Absolutely. Outstanding. Well, this has been awesome. I appreciate your insight and your time. You played it. Now maybe you can get some golf in, hopefully.
I'm going to go try to figure out what they got out of my basement over here.
There you go.
The hunting season's tomorrow, and I think they were getting some kind of hunting garb out of there.
Okay, very good. I've never been hunting before. As one thing, I wouldn't consider myself a city boy, but I guess I kind of am. Like I would rather just go golfing. But I was like, that sounds kind of fun to go. Maybe shoot at a duck or something. I don't know.
You know me, I'm kind of a country boy. So
right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, man. It's great. Yeah, you got your Yellowstone. Kevin Costner. It's awesome.
Well, I'm glad we got reconnected again. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, and
yeah,
I wish the best for you, young man.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, man. How old are you now?
43.
43.
43, 4 kids, just cruising along.
Well, I bet they're doing great. But you're a great dad. You're a good person, buddy. I miss you.
I miss you too, man. It was great seeing you. Hopefully I see you at the yard. And best of luck to you with the Rockies.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck with you and your little podcast here, buddy.
Appreciate it. Take care of yourself. We'll see you soon.
See you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that conversation with Scott Little. Scott's been around the game for a long time. He has a lot of experiences. He said that he's made mistakes throughout his life. So be okay with making mistakes. Like we always do, learn from them, we grow from them, and we just move on. So Scott, I appreciate your effort and being willing to share some of your experiences with us. Want to make sure you're aware that I'm working with athletes one-on-one on the mental game. What I do is if you are watching this episode, you don't know who I am, we've never talked or met before, I put together a free 20 to 30-minute consultation call with you or your athlete, hopefully together. And we have a 20-minute conversation about what you want to do, what your goals are, and to really see if it's a good fit moving forward to work together personally. I also have an online membership. The membership consists of Video Vault, where I teach a lot of content where you can learn on your own time. I'm going to do live weekly calls where you can join in. It's going to be a Q&A session. I might have a small message for that week to give to you that you can work on for the week. You'll have email access to me. So that's separate from the one-on-one. So I have the one-on-one calls where I work with you personally, and then I have my online membership that you can work and do your things on your own time and enjoy the weekly calls, and we learn from each other. So if you were interested in the one-on-one calls, email me at chad@mentaledge.coach. And if you're interested in the membership, go to mentaledge.training. So thanks for joining us today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.